Here we go, y'all.
Hey, welcome to Shop Talk with Cassandra Renee. With me are my co-hosts, Kevin Eaton.
Good morning, Baltimore.
And Angelo superstar Barbara Richardson.
Hello.
Hey. I understand Angelo went to New York over the weekend.
Yes, I did.
He attended a hair show.
Yeah, the IBS.
Yes.
Very popular hair show for the New York area.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. For the entire East Coast. You hear a lot about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Angelo's going to give us a quick report on that. But first of all, I'm going to start off with our main topic of today. And the main topic of today is open marriages. We're actually going to interview a young lady who is presently in an open marriage. But first of all, I thought we'd pretty much go into a little bit of what we ended with last week.
Okay.
You know, are we overprotecting our children? Because we actually spoke with Ralph. Ralph called in and he kind of gave us, you know, his little feedback on that. Because what really caused me to ask about this is the Temptation movie that came out. And the main character, Judith, she, not to give the movie away, but she was raised in a religious household and her mom was pretty strict on her. And the boyfriend the man she ended up marrying was the guy that she was attached to at the hip since the very beginning when they were real small. And she actually met a man who showed her a whole nother way of life. You know, and she fell into a way of life that wasn't healthy for her. You know, so I guess my question is, are we too protective of our kids that when they go to college and things like that, that they're unprepared?
Right.
What do you think, Kevin?
Well, yeah, I think that as parents, we do need to open up more to our kids.
Yes.
You know, earlier we were growing up. I mean, we were, the kind of stuff was hidden from us. You know,
Yes.
a lot of
Right.
things that I learned about life, I learned from other people. You know, like my friends' older brothers and stuff like that, who would, you know, school me on some certain things that I thought that would have been cool if my dad had taught me these things, you
Yes.
know. So I do think that, you know, especially with times the way they are now, I mean, kids can go right to the computer right now and just Google anything. So, you know, I think it'd be good for us to open up to our kids, tell them the truth, let them know, you know, the truth and the reality about life.
Yes.
So that, you know, they don't find out any other way.
Yes,
You know?
the hard way.
Yeah,
I mean, because there are hard lessons that they're going to learn anyway, you know, and I think to a certain extent they'll listen to you, but then there's that peer pressure, you know, that they give into or they're tempted and they have to learn some things for themselves. What do you think, Angelo?
Well, I think for me, I was grown when I actually sat down and spoke to my mom, which was just a few years ago. And I told her how I felt growing up. We just had a really bad relationship here and there. But for the most part, we're really good friends. I love my mom to death.
Oh, good.
I had a stepfather, not really a father. So I think as long as kids today keep up a good line of communication with their
Yes.
parents, like I told her the wins, the wheres, the whys, the hows, what I didn't like, what I expect of her as far as respect that I will give her in return, but you have to respect me in return as well. I think if kids do that nowadays, it would be so much easier.
That's
you
true.
know, on their parental relationship.
Yeah, and parents, you know, because a lot of times
Yeah.
parents are like, I'm the parent, you do that
You do
because
what
I
I
say do that,
Yeah.
no back talk. You know, we
Yeah.
need to kind of open
Yeah.
up and
Yeah.
connect with our kids and listen to what they
Yeah.
have to say.
My mom still does that now. Oh, I'm your mother.
Yes.
But I'm grown.
Yes, I'm a grown man. I understand you're my mom, but come
Yeah.
on now.
Yeah.
All right, but you know what? We are going to have Miss B on the air. Hi, Miss B.
Hello, everyone.
Good morning, Miss B.
We missed you last week.
I missed you guys.
Because we're presently talking about, you know, do we shelter our kids too much? What are your feelings on that?
I think a lot of times we do, just because we're trying to protect them.
Yes.
But because when we do that, we actually open a door for them to run through.
Yes.
And guess what? The world doesn't care. But as parents, we care. But sometimes we can have such a grip
A tight
that
grip.
when they get out, they don't.
Yes.
They lose their mind.
Yes. You know, because we love them so much. And don't let it be
Yeah.
the baby of the family.
Wow.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, and I just have two children, so I have a girl and a boy. So, you know, it was just like that. I mean, I did, but I didn't. You know, but I remember as a child myself growing up how I learned from my friends.
Yeah.
Everything. Back in the day, 40 plus years ago, they didn't talk about nothing. My mom had us scared if we kissed a boy, we were going to get pregnant.
Yes.
Exactly.
Okay?
Yes.
and that was real, and we thought, okay, we better not, you know.
They were
When you go
uncomfortable.
to college, you get crazy.
Yeah,
You
know,
see the
because
world for what it was.
what it really is, you know, the hard,
You need to
cold
be
heart.
honest with your kids.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
Because if you don't teach them, guess what?
The world will.
You know, and especially with the internet now, because the world comes right to your living room
Yes, it
or
does.
to their
Right there.
bedroom
To
or something
your
like that.
phone.
You know what I mean?
Tablets,
So you
got
ain't too much
tablets,
we
you
can
got
hide no
your
more. It's not,
phone.
Yes.
You can't hide stuff no more. I mean, they just go right on the internet
Oh,
and here it
yeah.
comes. And you might not want them to see it is what they're actually seeing, you know. So
But
spread
they're
to
seeing
them.
it.
Yeah, oh yeah. Mhm.
So better that they get taught by you
I
than the
think
world.
so.
Oh, yeah.
I
For
think
sure.
So, I really do.
I agree.
Okay, so I guess we're going to go into the main topic of our show.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith are rumored to do this.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Open marriages.
Mm-hmm.
On the phone, we have Renee. Hi, Renee.
Hi, how are you, Miss Cassandra?
Good. How are you doing,
I
girl?
am fine.
Good. Renee, how long have you been married?
Well, we've been together 13 years, but we've been married for 10 years.
Okay, how long had you been married prior to deciding to pursue outside open relationship?
Well, we decided this about 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what prompted that?
One day I was driving home from work listening to another radio show, and the topic was how and why people cheat. And they talked about a lot of it is based was because of lack of communication, because 9 times out of 10, both parties are thinking the same thing. It's just they're scared to talk about it. So that night I went home. I asked my husband if he ever decided or thought about cheating on me and what stopped him. And he said he had decided, but he figured that he would be losing a whole lot more, so it wasn't worth it. So I just asked him. I was like, well, you know, what if we decide to open up our marriage? Is that something that you want to do? And he was like, we can do it if that's what you want. Hey, let's give it a try. So that's how it started.
So has either of you done this before?
No, this was the first time.
Very first time.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess, you know, why be married if you're going to see other people on the side?
Well, because I love my husband and I enjoy being married. I love the whole idea of marriage. But a lot of times folks are curious and they want to know, you know, if they truly missing something in the outside world. So, you know, that's why I just brought it to him and he accepted it. So we went with it.
Okay, so it wasn't because you were bored, or was it because, I mean, were you bored, or was it the curiosity thing? Or for variety?
Curiosity. Oh, I'm never bored. I mean, my sex life with my husband is amazing. I mean,
Woo,
I'm
girl,
looking
go
for a
ahead.
better one.
Yes.
So it was just, you know, making sure that, you know, I wasn't missing nothing on the outside, or if it was something that I could, you know, learn and bring to my husband, just to make it that much more amazing.
And you said, so I guess it was your idea, or the both of you decided together, hey, let's do this. So it wasn't like, you know, I know you presented it to him, but I guess
Right.
both of you have accepted responsibility. This is something that we decided to do. Is that correct? Am I wrong? Or
That's correct. Because come on now, what man is going to say, no, I don't want to do that? Are you serious?
how about
You
that?
know, he had a big grin on his face when I even started mentioning it.
Well, Renee, welcome to the show. I have a question. Do you and your husband know the names of the other people, or do you know the other people?
Yes, that's one of the rules, because we created rules for each other on basically the do's and the don'ts. And one of the rules is we know the person's name and the address. In case something crazy go wrong, we know where to start looking first.
Okay. Okay. And do you consider yourself swingers? Are you guys swingers? Do y'all, you know, date other married couples or something like that? Is that in your
No, I wouldn't consider us being swingers because
Okay.
to me, sex is about comfort, and I wouldn't want either one of us to feel uncomfortable being that we're in the room. So you do your thing, and I'm going to do my thing.
Okay. Okay. How about as far as like protection? Do you use protection, or have you know, both of the outside parties be tested or screened or something like that?
Oh, of course, all the above. I mean, you know, with protection is a must. I mean, I've asked the person I'm with if he's been tested. I mean, he says yes. I mean, I'm not pulling out reports, looking for reports. You know, I'm just going to take his word, because the individual I deal with, I have been knowing him for years. So, you know, this is not a new person to me.
Okay. Are you concerned about other people your outside lovers may be seeing?
That not really, because one of my prerequisites for that individual is either you have to be in a relationship or you have to be married. Not that I'm trying to break up a happy home, but I don't want you sitting around thinking about, you know, what I'm doing and you blowing on my phone. So you need to be busy just like I'm busy.
Okay.
So, Renee, how do you arrange your encounters? Do you have like specific days of the month that you go out, or how is that done?
Yes, me and my husband, we literally sit down and look at a calendar once a month, a weekend out of the month. We both agree on that weekend, and we both go out at that time.
Are the two of you committed to just one person? Because I noticed you mentioned something about he, you know, him. You didn't mention anything about, you know, multiple. So he
I mean, it is up to us. I mean, we consider ourselves to be free that particular weekend. So if you want to go out and have 1, 2, 3, that's your business.
Wow.
That's what you want to do. But you know, it's just totally up to you. But we never go on separate weekends. It's always that exact same weekend.
Oh, the exact same weekend.
Yes, that way I'm not missing you, you're not missing me. We're both occupied. So
you know, because I was wondering about that. Because I'm like, it's no way in the world I would be like blowing up his phone. What are you doing? What's going on? I think I'm having a heart attack. It's time for you to come home.
So that's one of the reasons we decide to go out on the same weekend, because you know they say an idle mind is a dangerous mind, and it's you know I would probably lose my mind if I'm sitting at home wondering what he's doing. So why not have fun? So
right.
So Renee, let me ask you a question. What about the connection that you get with this person? What if you start, you know, really wanting to be with that person versus what's going to happen then?
Well, I mean, with me and my spouse and me and the other individual, it's all about open communications. We talk about everything. For me personally, if I feel that I'm going down that road, I pull back. I don't continue to go on that journey because I don't want to lose what I have at home. I'm not trying to break up my home. So, you know, right now I'm just keeping it fun, keeping it light, keeping it interesting.
Do you make it clear to the other person that there's no chance that you're going to leave your man?
Oh, yes. That's most definitely. That's the number one right there.
Okay, because you know how sometimes people will go into relationships like that, but then things change, like what Ms. B was kind of trying to bring out. You know, they catch feelings, and then they want you full-time.
Right, but, you know, my motto is I don't have no reason to lie. I'm grown. You know, let's talk about it. If you don't like it, I'm not holding a gun to your head. You are more than welcome to leave. So.
Are you concerned about pregnancy?
I mean, the thought is in my mind, you know, shoulda, coulda, but, you know, as long as I'm protecting myself, you know, that's not a showstopper for me, as they say, but, you know, it's always there.
Okay.
Do you or your spouse ever feel jealous?
Not really, because, again, we talk about everything, you know, so if it's anything that's on my mind, I'm going to lay it out on the line, and, you know, he's the same type of person, so I wouldn't say that it's really jealousy. It's more of, so what did you do? Did you like, you know, what you were doing, that type of thing.
Okay. Let me ask you, does that take the fun out of the sneaking around? Because, like, a lot of guys be talking about, you know, when they do their cheating and sneaking, it's like a thrill factor that your heart's pumping when you come home and your wife don't know what's going on, and you just, wow, you're like, oh,
Look,
boy.
he thinks she don't know.
Right. Well, for me, I mean, I never wanted to sneak around, because the more you sneak, you got to, you know, look over your back, and you're taking the fun out of what you're doing, so why sneak around? You know, be free. If you're going to have fun, have fun. Don't worry about who's looking at you.
Yeah, that's another thing. You know, could you be concerned? I would be concerned about other people, like maybe his family members and stuff.
Right.
You know,
well,
seeing me.
We do, you know, make it a point not to basically go around where family would be. You know, you know, we, you know, like he go to a different state, I go to a different city. So.
Okay.
Okay, I have a question, Renee. What happens? I know Cassandra said something about pregnancy. What happens if you get pregnant by another man?
Well, me and my spouse, we basically just say we have to cross that line if that day should ever come. I mean, we have never went anything further than that. You know, we are both very careful and hope that it doesn't come to that. But hey, life is life.
Yes.
You know, we like I said, keep it light. No need to, you know, blow things out of proportion unnecessarily.
You know, you mentioned something about, Renee, rules. What are the repercussions if one or the other doesn't abide by the rules?
Then you close the marriage. Everything stops. You shut it down.
You close the marriage?
Yes. No, you close you don't have a marriage.
Outside
go
relationship.
back to, you know, just you and me. And if you can't accept it from that point, then obviously our marriage wasn't as strong as we thought it was in the first place. But, you know, the rules were established at the very beginning. We both sat down and came up with the rules, wrote them on paper, and signed our names. So can't nobody say that I did not know.
That's a contract.
Hey, so you have to. You have to.
What are some of the rules that you guys have?
Some of the rules is, you know, always communications. You know, never bring that person you're with, never bring them to your house. You know, never let them know where you live. If one of them get too demanding, emotional, you need to let that person go because, again, you don't want to break up your happy home. Another one, at any time, you know, if the spouse is not happy, you stop it. You no longer have the open marriage, and everybody just, you know, agrees with that. No questions asked. You just move on.
So you have these people to sign the same thing?
Just the husband and wife.
Me and my spouse.
Just between you and your husband.
Yes,
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, Miss B wants a contract between all parties involved.
I mean, I'm just asking.
You involved sign this piece of paper. Let's have it notarized.
Look, what?
No, this is just rules.
You got to protect your investment, right, Renee?
True. A marriage is an investment. You invest a lot of time and work and tears and everything else into it.
That's right.
I have a question.
Protect what's mine.
Right.
Okay. So do you guys like date the outside person? Like, do you maybe like sometimes go out or something like that, or is it just a rendezvous type situation?
Really, it depends on how you feel that particular weekend. Sometimes you just want to go have wild and crazy sex. Sometimes you may want to go on a date, go watch a movie. It just depends. You know, in anything, anything is open.
Okay. Kevin?
Well, yeah. Okay. Do your kids know what you're doing? You have kids? Do they know? Do they know what's happening?
Well, we don't have any kids together. Me and my husband don't have any kids. He has an older daughter, and no, she doesn't know.
Okay.
Angela?
Yes. Renee, I'm curious to know, how do you handle it when the outside person performs some things better than your spouse? And do you make suggestions to your spouse? And if so, is that well received?
Well, I haven't had that happen yet. I mean, to me, when I'm with that individual, of course, I'm going to go above and beyond, and then, I take it to a whole new level with that person. I may bring that home and do it on my husband. But if there was something that, that he could do better, of course I would let him know. And I'm almost sure that he would change it because, he don't want nobody to outperform him. So he's going to do everything and anything that makes me happy and keeps me happy.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay.
So what do you do when one relationship ends but the other one is going strong?
Well, again, we agree to go out on that same weekend. So if you don't have nothing on that weekend, then we both don't go out. So it's just up to you to keep, another person on the side. So to say, a backup to a backup.
A backup to a backup. Oh, wow. How do you keep the outside person from feeling used, Renee?
Well, for me, like I said before, I only get involved with folks that's in a relationship or that's married. So, if they are getting relationships, they got to look at that. They're going to lose something on their end as well. So, are you willing to give up what you have? Just try to get that something that you can't have, basically. So, I don't worry about that because, again, I always let them know up front, this is how it is. I'm not leaving my husband. I love him to death. You can be with me and have fun, or, I move to the next person.
Okay, so you say the other person is also married. Does their spouse know that they're out?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so because a lot of women is not going to go for this.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So the partners are still getting that thrill factor, huh?
They're getting that thrill.
They are.
You were talking about.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's getting the rush.
That creeping and sneaking thrill, huh?
Okay.
Does having an open relationship contribute to your marital bliss, or does it take something away from it, Renee?
For me, whether it's open or closed, I'm always going to be in marital bliss because it's what I make it. It's what that person make it. So if you're going to have a great relationship, it's because you're going to put, do what you have to do to make it work. So, if I shut it down and it's just me and him, like before, I'm always going to be good. So.
Wow. So do the two of you ever talk about your outside encounters?
Yeah.
In detail?
Yeah, sometimes we do.
Lottie B?
Sometimes we do. And we have another rule between me and him, don't ask questions that you really don't want to know the answer to. So, you know, if you want to get that answer, you're going to ask.
Don't ask, don't tell.
There you go.
Miss B, do you have another question?
Oh, very interesting.
Yeah. Okay, Angelo?
Okay, have you discussed how to handle it if an outside person refuses to, like, just simply go away?
We talked about it a little, not in detail, but, you know, like I said, the people that we involved with, we have known for years. We, you know, they're being friends, or either, like, for him, he have dated one of the folks, you know, 20-plus years ago. So it's
Okay.
not a brand-new person where, you know, may have stalker-type tendencies, because I know the person I'm dealing with. I've been knowing him for years on a friendship level, and now that we're just taking it to another level. Now, you never know. Folks can go crazy at any minute.
Yes, they do.
You know, you never know what happened, but the folks that we tend to deal with, we have known them for years, so we would hope it wouldn't get to that point.
Okay, do you have a plan in place of how and at what point you two will decide to just stop having open relationships?
Not really, because, I mean, right now, shoot, we both got our cake and eating it too, so it's just fun. You know, shoot, why stop a good thing? I mean, maybe next year I might be tired, you know, and we may shut it down, but as of right now, we just living life.
Okay, we have some callers on the air. Callers, I'm going to need you to limit yourself to 1 minute, okay? On the air, we have Kenny. Hi, Kenny.
How you doing?
Good.
This is a great conversation. I just wanted to know, first of all, why get married when you could do all that single? And second of all, I wanted to know, do everybody get a checkup, go to the doctor, and they put all that on paper, you know, that everybody's okay and healthy, and far as, you know, psychologically, is everybody straight in their head?
Okay.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Kenny.
Thank you, Kenny.
Okay, Renee?
Like I said, I love the idea of being married. I love my husband, and I wouldn't change it for the world. So as far as in, you know, why be married and do this, it's basically I'm living my life. This is what I want to do.
Yes.
You know, as far as in the protection and everything, I do protect myself whenever I'm out. I ask the individual if he's been tested. No, I don't look at any paperwork or anything. You know, if he says yes, then I'm good with it. If he says no, then I say, hey, go, you know, get this done before we get together. But again, the folks that I deal with, we have been friends for years, so it ain't like I'm just going out picking the first thing I see, you know, in the club.
Right.
I don't do that. I don't even go to clubs. So
Yeah.
these is folks that I have known for years.
Okay, we have Leo on the air. Leo, we have a few seconds. What's your question or comment?
Well, basically, it sounds like you're having your cake and eating it, too. Does morality count for anything? I agree with the previous caller. Why not just stay single and keep some standards of ethics and decency involved? Open marriage sounds like a European concept to me.
Thank you, Leo. Okay, Renee?
Well, you know, it's why ask why? You know, if you do what you want to do with your you know, in your life, you know, if my husband is with it, hey, why not? You know, if he would have said, Renee, no, I don't want you to do this, okay, done deal. I wouldn't have brought it up again. But why? Why not? Why not have fun? Life is too short.
Okay, on the air we have Michael. Michael, you have a few seconds.
Yes, real quick. Well, Renee, I respect you because you're your own image, but you said something that's incorrect. You said you know and your husband know and the person that you're with know. But when your husband is out there cheating with a woman, if she's married, does her husband know? And the man that you're with, if he's married, does his wife know? If they don't know, you're living a lie.
Thank you, Michael. Okay, Renee?
Okay, they probably don't know because, like I said, a lot of couples is not doing this. I'm not living a lie. They're the ones that live in a lie. It's up to them to tell their spouses what they're doing. If their spouses don't agree with it, then they shouldn't be doing it at all. You know, obviously they're probably missing something on that end is why they have to come looking for me anyway.
Wow. Well, thank you so much, Renee, for calling in.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so you have a great day.
All right, bye, guys.
All right,
Renee.
bye-bye.
Bye.
All right.
All right, Kevin?
Whoa, that was a nice show there, huh?
Yes,
Talking to her, that was exciting, huh?
Wow.
How about that one?
You know, this show has been sponsored by Coiffure Exclusive Salon. We are a hair replacement, hair extension salon in a private environment. Please give us a call at 410-663-2643 or contact us online at cesalon.net. Again, the phone number is 410-663-2643.
Have you ever asked yourself, what can I do to live healthier? Take the Healthy Body Challenge and live 90 for life. Call 410-274-5896. Again, call 410-274-5896. The call that will change your life for the rest of your life.
For the rest of your life. Again, that number is 410-274-5896. Oh,
The only thing about
boy.
a 30-minute show was that it only lasts
30 minutes. That was an interesting 30 minutes, y'all. So make sure you tune in next week. We're going to bring something else very special for you because you never know what Shop Talk with Cassandra Renee is going to bring to you, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So until next week, bye-bye.
Bye-bye, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.
How about that?
Was that hot enough for you?
Ready to get married now?
Shop Talk with Cassandra Renee. The radio show where we talk about
goodness.
it all. Beauty,
All right, y'all.
sports, current events, health, travel.